Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. So, huge news that broke today. The producer's letter for 2022 came out. This is something that DDO does every year. They release a letter that outlines what they want to do for the rest of the year. Typically has a lot of really big new announcements, and we got a lot of those in the letter today, including things like a new race, a lot of new content going free to play. So, let's just get into it. So, the first announcement is the announcement of the new producer, which is going to be Tolero. So Tolero, she's been around DDO for a very long time, and she's going to serve as the new producer. Just keep note, this is not the new executive producer. This is kind of a position under Severlin. So Severlin's still going to be the executive producer for DDO and Lotro. But in any case, here's a little bio about her. I'm not going to go through all this, but if you would like to go through that, I'll put the link to this letter in the description below. Anyways, the first cool thing as far as news that was released is this roadmap, which doesn't give a lot of details, but there's more details below. So on the roadmap, we're in Q1 right now. Snow Peaks Festivals, update 53, which we'll talk about in just a minute. They gave a little bit more details on that. 16th anniversary celebration. So every year they do the anniversary, which includes some kind of giveaway. Then we have Q2, Isle of Dread. We already knew that. So Isle of Dread is going to be the new expansion for DDO coming this year. They've already announced previously that it will be early summer, late spring. Still no definitive date on that. Hardcore Season 6 was announced. Not surprised. Hardcore Season 5 just ended, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. So it's not surprising to see another hardcore season, but that was announced here. DDO.com refresh. So very soon, the website and even the forums are going to get updated. So that would probably involve you having to sign up for a new forum account, things like that. But that's going to happen soon, along with the website here, which is going to be refreshed as well, along with that. Q3, Crystal Cove refresh. So very cool. Crystal Cove hasn't been updated in quite a long time. Update 55 is something we'll talk about here in a minute. In 56, Future, they have listed updated character bank. We'll talk about that in a minute. And forum revamp, which I already discussed. So let's go down and get some more details about the stuff in this roadmap. Okay, this is what they had to say. We just jazzed up the Snow Peaks Festival with a new additional challenge quest. So that just happened, and Snow Peaks Festival ends this weekend is the last weekend for it. So if you haven't yet spent your frozen keys, then go to the Hall of Heroes and get sliding and or jumping, and get your augments and all the cool stuff you can get for your Snow Peaks coins. Let's see, and then so this is the next kind of important thing covered here. The next new content you'll see will be update 53 called Hunter and Hunted. They have talked about this before. It will be level 7 heroic and 32 legendary. This will be the next adventure pack. It will be set in the Feywild universe, where you'll be investigating a mysterious wild hunt, and it also includes a raid. And they do note here you do not need to own Fables of the Feywild in order to play this adventure pack. Free to VIP is available in the DDO store. Okay, and then they're going to talk a little bit about the 16th anniversary. So we've yet to get into the really big stuff. So for the 16th anniversary, well, I guess this is big. This is big stuff for new players, actually. Huge stuff for new players. I guess I could correct myself. But the big thing for the 16th anniversary, as you can see here, they're making a ton of new races, a ton of old races and classes free to play. So all of the races from the core DDO 5th edition, all the core races are now going free to play. So Gnome, Half Elf, Half Orc, Drow, Wood Elf, Dragonborn, and Tiefling. If you don't own those, you can now play those whenever the 16th anniversary hits. Those are all going to be free to everybody, along with the core classes of Druid, Monk, and Warlock. So a lot more free to play stuff. It's cool to see them do this. I think they've seen over the last few years, if you make stuff free, more players will come, and you'll get more revenue from just having more players, as opposed to leaving this stuff behind a paywall that, at this point, I doubt they're making a lot of money off of the sales of like Half Orc or something. Everyone who's bought it already has it, so it's just blocking out new players. So it's cool to see them offer this. They are going to offer some kind of recompense, some kind of thank you for players who have already purchased it. So if you already own, for each of these you own, you're going to get a Greater Elixir of Discovery, which is a potion, a consumable that increases the % chance of you to get loot in chests. So if you like that, cool. But I mean, I've seen a little bit of people going back and forth already about, some grumblings about, oh, you're giving away stuff we'd already paid for. why can't we get a refund or something? But if you paid for it, you did get to use it for years where other people didn't, and it's just kind of unreasonable to expect them to refund you. So I don't know. I mean, a greater elixir of discovery. I guess I don't know. I guess it's an okay. At least it's something. I don't know. I'm not too excited about that, but I care more personally about the game getting more new players and being more friendly to new players. So I'm happy, even if it's not a great compensation for stuff we may have bought. I don't really care because I'm happier to see more new players have access to these races, and there to be less paywalls, at least for new players. When you first log into the game, it looks, or first create your first character, it looks kind of bad because you see all these like pay to play options beside all these races and classes. So it'll look better for new players logging. It won't look like such a paywall out game when they kind of dive into the character creation for their first experience. Anyways, for VIPs, this is another big announcement. So for VIPs, another thing they're doing for the anniversary is we want to thank you by increasing your free gold rolls on daily dice from once per week to once per day through the end of the year. So you're going to get 6 additional rolls per week if you log in every day as a VIP for your gold rolls. So that's more incentive there to be VIP. There's a lot of really good stuff you can get from gold rolls, which are much better than the free to play silver rolls that everyone gets. Then they say we'll post another announcement with further details when the anniversary patch launches. So that's kind of the giveaway. I don't know that they have any other giveaways here. It sounds like that's kind of be it for the 16th anniversary. A lot of times they'll give out like a cosmetic or something in addition, but it doesn't look like that's the case this year. But I'm sure players will be plenty happy with all this stuff going free to play, and that'll be plenty sufficient as far as a 16th anniversary gift. All right, so now they're going to talk a little bit in the producer's letter here about the Isle of Dread. They're showing some development art of dinosaurs. So we've seen dinosaurs before. We've seen them. They've been working on them for years. We've seen some of them have been in like content like Sharn. If you remember, like a Sharn, for example, a Sharn Welcome there at the end fight. There's a dinosaur at the end fight, a raptor. So they're showing some development art of dinosaurs that will be in the Isle of Dread expansion. So raptors, we've seen kind of this style on the bottom of raptor before in the game, but this top version we haven't. So these are the types of creatures we'll be seeing in the Isle of Dread. This looks like a very awesome, like it almost looks like this is labeled as a raptor, but it almost looks like a dragon raptor hybrid here. But then we've got some here we got some triceratops dinosaurs, very cool. So we'll probably see those. We've got another type of dinosaur with spikes on its back. I'm not entirely sure the actual name for this one, but definitely a dinosaur I've seen before. Pictures of before, but it looks very cool. But the Triceratops and this spiky dinosaur we've not yet seen in the game. So yeah, so that's a taste of some of the dinosaurs we'll be seeing in the expansion this year. Okay, then they go on to say, I think the world underestimates how much the team loves dinosaurs, and this spring we're about to go to the most dinosaur-laden D&D module of all time, the Isle of Dread. This will be an expansion, so expect to see fun goodies available in the pre-purchase opportunity this spring, including, here's another huge announcement, the new Tabaxi character race. So huge announcement there. I did think they would drop a new race today. I was not expecting it to be Tabaxi. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I don't know how to pronounce the proper way to pronounce that. But so if you all don't know what Tabaxi is, it's a cat-like race. So here's a picture of it right now. And it's a dexterous race that's akin to probably make good rogues, things like that. But it's a dexterous cat-like race. Personally, I'm not too hot on this choice. I was expecting, I think the obvious choice that players would love would be Kobold. A lot of players have been talking about Kobold for a long time. Even the developers have. Seemingly, just looking at it from my perspective, they could probably adapt the halfling body type for a Kobold, so they didn't have to, do a whole new, design new armors for that, create a whole new body type that would make the project unfeasible. I would think they could just adapt it off halflings. There's a lot of potential for give them like a lightning spell SLAs that would kind of mimic what some of the iconic kobolds in the game, like the kobold shamans from Waterworks, for example. I just think there's a lot of cool ideas. You could even bring in the voice actor Cindy to do some cool kobold voices for it. it seems like there's a lot of cool ideas for Cobalt. I'm not sure why they would choose Tabaxi specifically, because we just got Shifters, which are also a cat-like race. And just for me looking at the 5e stuff before I made this video, it seems like they are also a race that uses claws. So yeah, I'm not too hot on that choice. It just seems like there were better choices. I would love to see, even for Tabaxi, something like Half Giant would be like a race I would think would be awesome. Or even things like Lizard Folk would be cool, even though we do have Dragonborn, so we kind of already have a lizard race, but Lizard Folk would be really cool. Goliath. There's a lot of races I would have rather seen before Tabaxi, but in any case, that's what they went with. And as far as I know, I don't know that really has anything to do with Isle of Dread. You all comment below and let me know if there's some kind of tie-in with Tabaxi and Isle of Dread. If there is, let me know. I'm not aware of any, if there's any tie-in in the lore. But in any case, that's the new race, Tabaxi. So that will be included, from what they're saying here, with the new expansion. So there will probably be a base race and an iconic, I would expect. But they have not confirmed any of that. They've just said Tabaxi is the new race. We don't know if it'll just be a base race or it'll be iconic or what. And the next thing that they announced, which they did announce it already, but they didn't give the specifics, is the level cap increase. So they told us about this last year, but they did confirm, which is what I suspected and I've talked about in my videos, is that the increase would be up to level 32. So the level cap increase will happen with Isle of Dread, and it's going to be level 32. So not too surprising. I didn't think it would be like 35 or anything like that, just because there's not enough content. So we'll see how they implement that. What I'm really curious is if they do a power jump with Isle of Dread. And I hope they don't. I hope the Isle of Dread loot stays on par with all the new legendary loot we just got, all the like Feywild, Sharn power levels. Like they just did the stat crunch and really did a nice job of really balancing all the in-game loot out. So I hope they don't destroy all that by just, you know, adding +1 to all the stats and adding that in as the new Isle of Dread loot. I hope they don't make all this cool new loot they just introduced obsolete. That's one thing I'm afraid of. I don't think they'll do that, but we'll have to see. Hopefully the gear still remains like minimum level 30 or 29, and it just is on par with what we already have, but still is creative and compelling and different, but doesn't kind of make all the other gear in the game obsolete. That's what I'm hoping for. But in any case, 32 is the new level cap, and that'll be happening with Isle of Dread. Okay, now they talk about after Isle of Dread. So this is what they have to say. Beyond Isle of Dread, there's a lot of things on the radar. On the serious end of the spectrum is improving game performance. For a while now, we have focused on creating tools to let us see what's happening so we can be more proactive rather than reactive. We've also created a multidisciplinary strike team that meets regularly with myself and executive producer Severlin to focus on what these diagnostics are telling us. So they kind of go more into detail of what they've done to combat lag and what they want to do to combat lag. I'm not going to read through all of this, but in summary, this says we're doing more to combat lag. We know it's a problem. Here's some of the things we're doing, and they even mentioned some of the things that they've done. Like this is one thing that helped, is they redid the way that kind of Reaper enhancements load in, which did cause some lag. So there's some things they're doing. If you want to read through this, you can. I'm not going to go through all this, but yeah, they're working on lag. That's essentially what that boils down to. All right, so here's some other things they have to talk about. Okay, a new hardcore league this summer. Not surprising. They have done a few of these every year. It's going to continue because it's obviously it's very, very successful. Good money maker for them, obviously. So yeah, new hardcore league. They say, well, we're shaking things up after our winter redux season with a twist, but we're keeping it secret for now. We've also identified some server performance optimization for when the seasons kick off, which should make the opening day and first weekend of the hardcore perform better. So they haven't announced the theme. Every hardcore season has a theme. Like there'll be a different like this season was a redux of season 5 was a redux of season 1, where mortality was the vendor. They've done some in the past that had a little twist. So there was a season where you could have 2 lives instead of 1. It's just they tend to mix up the theme a little bit. They haven't announced that yet, but stay tuned. I'm sure they will announce it in the next several months as we get closer. Crystal Cove, they mentioned, will be touching it up, both to help with performance and also to mix up the monsters and keep the event's rewards relevant. Okay, so from that, it sounds like they're probably not going to do a complete revamp of the event, probably just some performance changes and probably minor tweaks, and probably I would expect new rewards, even though they didn't mention that here, but I would expect them to do new rewards, or at least make the current rewards better, but they didn't confirm that. Okay, then they said we'll be updating a classic adventure pack so that it is able to be played at higher levels once the level cap increases with Isle of Dread. But I'm not ready to announce details on which pack that is yet. So cool, very cool. We're getting a new adventure pack that is going to be either Epified or Legendary-ified, if that's a word you want to use. But they're going to take something that's probably heroic only and make it either legendary and or epic. Or legendary or epic or legendary. They're not going to do epic and legendary. But personally, I want to see Reaver's Reach. I think that would be awesome. Stealer of Souls, Prey on the Hunter, all those quests are really good quests. Some of them, like Monastery of the Scorpion, not huge on, but I think they're really well-made quests. I think it's a really well-made area. There's a lot of potential there with if they could do legendary dragon touched armor. I would love to see that. So that's what I'm hoping for, but there's other good choices that would be very cool, but maybe something like Attack on Stormreach. There's several good options I'm sure players would like to see, but personally, I am crossing my fingers for some Legendary Reaver's Reach and Legendary Dragon Touched Armor. But yeah, comment below. Let me know what you want to see Epified and or Legendary-ified or Legendary-ified. They won't do both. Let's see. There will be another new adventure pack this year where a familiar villain is up to new trouble. So that's probably going to be fall 2022, I would imagine. And they say a familiar villain is up to new trouble. So is it going to be Eritrico stealing codex pages again? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they say a familiar villain. That could also be the thing. Actually, what I think it very well could be, the thing I would predict is that we get a adventure pack for Ravenloft, and it's something else with the familiar villain they might be referring to as perhaps Strahd. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I know Ravenloft is something that obviously has been extremely popular in DDO, not just DDO, but also pen and paper D&D. So I think at some point, whether it's this year or next year, or maybe a couple years down the line, I think they'll definitely add another adventure pack for Ravenloft. And they've also talked in the past about doing potentially, and this is nothing confirmed, but something they would like to do would be say like a Revenant tree to go along with that. So like a undead themed tree, a universal enhancement tree that would go along with, say, a possible new adventure pack for Ravenloft. So it could be that, but it could also just be Eritricos, or it could be, the Feywild's villain. It could be a lot of different things. All right, then they go on to say we'll be adding some new character build options later on in the year, but I'll tell you more details when we get closer to it. I don't know what that means. That could be maybe a universal enhancement tree. That could be revamps of classes. I don't know. Maybe improvements to enhancement trees. We don't know. This is really general. I have no idea what that means. What character build options could be? Maybe it could be new feats. It could be a lot of different things. So that doesn't really tell us much. Then the Tolero continues, there's even a feature that should be both a boon of better performance and something people have asked about, an updated character bank. Not only will we be able to offer more character bank space, but it'll offer be better from a server perspective too. So that's awesome. I mean, if you all are like me, you hoard stuff like crazy in DDO. As much as I try to fight it, I still end up hoarding stuff in DDO. I never feel like I have enough bank space, and a lot of players have tons of what we call in the DDO community mules, so alts that basically just serve to hold inventory that's bound to account or unbound. So yeah, so hopefully anything to give us more inventory is good. Also a good way for the game to make money. I like that if they sell inventory, that's a thing I'm happy to pay for, and it's not like power creep and stuff. So yeah, and then they say we'll be updating DDO.com, and after that the forums too, but we'll have more information on that once we're ready. So my understanding was the forums were going to be updated pretty soon, but we'll have to see. They really haven't given us any definitive dates. So then Tolero finishes by saying that she's grateful for the players who make this possible, and she's looking forward to telling us fun things in future letters, and so on and so forth. So yeah, guys, that's all the new info that dropped today. So yeah, you all let me know what you think about all this stuff. Personally, like I said before, I guess the coolest stuff is the details about Isle of Dread, all the free stuff, all the free races for new players. The new race, as I said before, I'm not too big on personally, but if you're excited about it, then let me know. That would be cool to read. And yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all next time. Have a good one. Take care.